a little bit, no, slight jog.
Oh, hold on.
We're good.
Hey, everybody, it's the Irregulars, Matt Posner, Chris Priester, the teacher.
Jesus Christ. Here we go. I'm here.
Here he is.
I'm here. Black man
He's
on time. Black man on time. Yes, sir.
Here you go. All right, we got to go live, though.
Go live? Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do
Boom,
this.
bang.
Yeah.
Let's get it all done sideways. Right?
No, it doesn't work sideways, supposedly. I don't know. All right, we're just going to
figure this
There
out.
we go. Yeah, we got to figure this out.
All right.
All right, we're live. Here we go, everybody. There he is. You got
Make sure all my friends are
We
here.
got to get in the picture here. We're having a little technical difficulty as always. But,
It wouldn't be in the regular show if
All
we didn't have technical difficulties.
you know what? We're just going to turn this sideways and see what happens. Okay.
All right.
It says you can't rotate your device. All right.
What the hell?
Let's see, Jerry. All right. We're just going to go.
It's almost like you're a black guy. You got a hot phone or something?
I don't know.
Is that one of those hot phones from the convenience store in the neighborhood?
All right, here we are. Let's go, everybody. You got to get in the picture here.
Hold it. Wait.
We're just going to do that like that.
We're going to get close.
Right, we're going to get close. Yeah, everybody wants to see my face. I don't know why anybody wants to see my ugly mug. I mean, it's all about you anyway. So we'll go back and forth. Here, the biggest thing is we want to get you to YouTube. That's Stephen Parrott's joining us. My cousin Kim joining us. So if you can, switch over to YouTube, and we're live on YouTube as well. And we just want to welcome everybody. And what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm getting it over to my thingy. Live on YouTube, damn it.
Live on
we're
YouTube.
Almost there, people.
We're ready. We're ready.
Jesus,
all right. Anyway, there's a lot going on in the world, as we all know. And let's see. Oh, he's live from Chile. Mike Kabasi joining us. Hey, Mike. Yeah, check us out. Try and go to YouTube, guys. The Irregulars Show. You'll see us live there.
Yes.
We got some people viewing us still on Facebook. So we're trying to make the transition to YouTube. Poor internet here in Chile. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you're in a third world country.
It's all right.
But it's okay.
Socialist?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Chile, I think, is a democratic country. I don't know if they're socialist. Hey, Mike, how's it going up in Wyoming?
Up, Mike?
Starting to get a little chilly up there, I would imagine. Fall's about to become a...
We got hurricanes coming. So
we got a hurricane coming, brewing out there a little bit. They say it might come our way. Big game with St. Tom. You know, a lot of football. There's a team traveling. Bergen Catholic is traveling down this weekend.
Yes.
And they might get canceled. Who knows? But you know how that goes with the hurricanes. You never know. And so, look, but everybody panics a little bit. 40s tonight in Wyoming. Hey, Michael Weintraub.
All right. Everybody's chiming
in. And we're getting some people switching over to YouTube. So, yeah, check us out on YouTube, The Irregulars Show on YouTube. We're really trying to bring the audience over there. It's a much better situation.
Yeah, better screen.
Better screen. Yeah, it's much easier on YouTube, but that's okay. So welcome, everybody. Again, a lot going on tonight.
Yes.
The obvious, President Trump at the G7 summit. And there is a lot of talk about the trade with China.
Yes.
And that seems to be on everybody's mind because it's so critical to the world economy, not just what's going on between the United States and China, but everybody else.
Made in China.
Made in China.
I need it back.
Last week, the president encouraging companies to disassociate themselves with Chinese manufacturers and to find their goods elsewhere. Probably easier said than done. If I'm a company right now and I'm manufacturing towels and linens, I have probably 2-3 sources that I can go to: China, Pakistan, or India. Now, India, I mean, can you post any link? Kira, if you could post the link, that would be great. We can't do that right now, but hopefully Kira is watching and she'll post the link for me on this. So we'll hopefully get that up pretty soon. We'll get it going. But the interesting thing that, and this was on Fox News, and it goes back to what we talked about last week. You never know who you can actually believe anymore when you're hearing things. So it was written in, and this was a Fox News story, that over the weekend, China had made 2 phone calls to our top trade people.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the article, the Chinese denied making any phone calls.
Listen, I already see every day I'm reading about American manufacturers, American farmers. All these people are suffering because we can't trade with with the Chinese.
Be nice.
With our Chinese friends.
Right.
That's what we've been trading for forever. Everything in my house is made in China.
Just about.
Just about. We can't start changing the rules now, man. Do not change the rules. Hey, George Atwell, that's my neighbor. Don't you change the rules now. Made in China means made in China. We don't have enough skills in America to make stuff.
Well, we do, because look, and I was thinking about this today,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of the things that I wanted to, we wanted to cover on the show today, was this whole trade issue and things made in America. But when you look at how cars are made today, and you look at when they had the line, and you don't have the line today. The assembly line is gone. It's all automated, and you have people pushing buttons, and you still need some people to push buttons.
But our kids,
but
pushing them.
But they are pushing because they're sitting home and they're playing games. So why can't you make manufacturing a game? Why can't we take a big building, put these kids in there with their toys, and make stuff?
No, they're too lazy. They just want to play the game because it's already made. And our Chinese friends, there they go again. The Chinese people made those freaking PlayStations and Nintendos and crap, and that's what started messing our kids up.
You think so?
Oh, I know so. They did it. I know we didn't make those things. Chinese had to make them.
So in the same article, President Trump compliments the Chinese leader and says that he is a smart man. So he's trying to warm up to this guy.
Well, he is.
And it's again, you don't know who to believe. You really don't.
It's brilliant. But again, I'm not going to be Mr. Like I tell people, everybody's on Facebook Congress now. Facebook done made everybody a damn White House correspondent. But my thing is, the world has been run by China since we were babies. I don't want to say they run it, but they make all our stuff.
Well, they make a good proportion of stuff. And
I don't know what they do over there, but them Chinese people make every damn thing.
Well, the labor is really cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. And the resources are abundant.
My thing is this. Okay, you say, oh, let the Americans do it. I done told somebody we wasted 30 years of making a bunch of American kids lazy. They don't want to do that type of stuff.
No, they don't.
If we took away, that's why I'm on the line with the immigration stuff. Because
we need immigrants.
I don't give a damn what they say. If we kick all the immigrants out, we're going to lose a lot of our labor force. These sorry-ass kids, excuse my language, people, these sorry-ass kids don't want to do no roofing work. They don't want to do no landscaping. They all want to work inside, in the air, because they indoor babies. I asked the question the other day, when was the last freaking time you had to stop your car in the street because kids were playing outside?
Not in a long time. And every once in a while, it's funny, you go through a neighborhood. I know, because when I go to do estimates and stuff for the contracting business, and I see signs, our kids play here, be careful. And I'm like, where are the kids? Where are they? Hello? No kids.
Not playing with them. No, they wouldn't even let the dogs go outside anymore. The dog like that. It's too hot out there.
Well, it is kind of hot out there.
Come on, man.
Stephen Morris joining us. Hey, Stephen Morris.
Oh, B is bringing a big concert here November 30th. Keith Sweat.
Keith Sweat. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gonna be at the
Miami Arena. Song. He had like
a bunch of them.
But he was that smooth guy.
Smooth. Right. Look at you, man. That know him all, baby.
I know him all.
But seriously, from a society standpoint,
yes,
we got kids now. Okay, we're talking about China and trade.
But hold on. I'm glad we're going to talk about society, because this next topic really gets me, and this is right up your alley. But go ahead.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Finish.
But I'm wondering, what are we doing?
James L. Knight Center.
James L. Knight Center. I said Miami. I'm showing my. I'm aging myself.
Yeah.
It was Miami. God damn, we're old. But you're right, B. James L. Knight Center now. But I was when we were younger.
Yes. We
went outside.
Yes.
Our dads taught us how to use our hands, change a tire, things like that. I think we got a generation of guys. Now, does that go back to family structure? Is it because we got a generation of moms who raised boys, and we didn't have a lot of marriage? We did a lot of
but no, you didn't have all the there wasn't so many of these outside influences. The social pressure that there is now. You know, you had to go outside. You had to get into a fight on the basketball court. You had to ride bikes and get hurt and fall off, and you weren't wearing a helmet, but you knew how to fall because you rode the bike all the time. These kids fall today and they hit their heads because they don't know how to fall off a bike. So, but getting back to this social thing and how we've become a society of such followers. And the example that I'm going to use is this Popeye's chicken sandwich phenomenon.
Christ.
You knew, come on.
I knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming. People are waiting an hour and a half to get the Popeye's new crispy chicken sandwich, spicy or plain.
I'm embarrassed as a black person fighting in restaurants. But I do have a picture. Oh, I knew that was coming. I got a picture of a restaurant full of white people waiting on that Popeye.
The white people are waiting on Popeye's chicken.
Yeah,
the Popeye's chicken phenomenon is here. And let me tell you something. Chick-fil-A is sweating in their boots right now. They are nervous.
My thing is,
but let me ask you a question. Is that chicken that they're using is all hormone injected, the most garbage chicken you can buy?
I don't even eat Popeyes, but I mean, I'm amazed because we don't have many Popeyes. We got one on commercial.
Somebody chime in if you're waiting in line on a drive-through at Popeyes.
Or have you had the
sandwich?
If
you had the sandwich.
If you had it.
We just need to know if you've had the sandwich. Is there somebody out there that has
had all that?
Yeah, I saw a couple of people post, and I've looked at the reviews, and people still say that the Chick-fil-A sandwich is better than the Popeye sandwich.
The Republicans probably.
You think so?
That's going to go down. Watch this. This is going to go down political line soon, too.
Really?
Chick-fil-A is conservative Republican, closed on Sundays. Owned by a Trump guy. Popeyes.
Now, I see the woman in the commercial for Popeyes. Is she the owner? Is that?
Oh, God, no. It's a little white lady CEO. I saw it the other day.
Oh, really?
Well, old white lady.
So who's the black woman in the commercial?
She just somebody that looks nice and she looks like she cooked chicken. So she's good for advertising. Oh, I love that chicken from Popeye. We got spices. She just make me want to go eat.
So she's like the Colonel Sanders for Popeye.
That's what she is. Because she's from New Orleans and she got that New Orleans accent. It's disgusting.
See, I assume that she was like the owner or the founder of Popeye's chicken.
Come on, she's black. You know better. And she's a black woman. That's a double dip. Nowhere in hell they're going to let a black woman have a company like that. That was funny.
Oh, my God.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Look, a lot of things going on still.
Oh, God, yeah.
Now, big news in the entertainment world, and I believe this was big news, and because he is, everybody's saying that he's trying to resurrect his career a little bit, but Saturday Night Live, going into their 45th season, I'm sure you saw this. You saw it. I mean, everybody saw this, right? Eddie Murphy will be hosting the 45th season opening show for Saturday Night Live. It'll be his first appearance in 30 years.
Yes, and he's doing Coming to America.
Yes.
Been negotiating with him for a Netflix stand-up special for like $70 million. I want to get close to that. It is amazing, but I'm concerned because of all this political correctness and all this PC. I was watching some old Eddie Murphy the other week. That shit he was saying back in Delirious and Eddie Murphy Raw, if he says that crap today, oh my God, the feminists, the sexists, the LGBTs, Everybody's
so
gonna
you
come
don't
get
think
him.
he can get away with that today?
Oh no!
Really?
Oh no! Those jokes were brutal.
Oh, but those were very funny.
They were funny. He was a master storyteller. He was great.
Master storyteller.
One of my heroes, but I don't know if he could do that today. I mean,
but let me ask you this question: the series of flops, the series of just bad movies. Now, granted, he did make some classics.
Okay.
Beverly Hills 1, 2, and 3. Even 3 was pretty good. Okay. But Beverly Hills 1 and 2, very good movies.
Not to mention.
Okay. 48 Hours was amazing. Okay. Coming to America classic.
What else did he have? He had another series.
Okay. He had, what was it? Distinguished Gentleman was terrible. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's been gone for a while though.
Okay.
Like he fell off
what was it? The Golden Child was, or not the Golden Child was fun and kind of was kind of a cool movie in a way, and you had the hot Asian chick in the movie, so she made it worth it. And then it was kind of the mystical thing about that movie.
Then that fat guy, the Clark guy,
the Nutty Professor.
That's when he fell off the planet. After that, I think he got some young chick married him, and he went off into the jungle of Africa and didn't come out for a while.
So really, Coming to America, he lived it truly in his life.
Yes, and he ended up with a younger chick, and poor guy. Oof.
But then he had the other movie, was not the Chosen One or something. The Holy Man, where he plays that like homeless kind of guy, and they discover him, and he has this magic. I was on the set of that movie. Jeff Goldblum. Kelly Preston was in that movie.
That man's been going about 20 years now.
Probably.
And now he's just coming back. That's know you're a badass if you can just take off 20 years and come back and people still want to see you. That's what Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock took off after him. They all used him and then he took off. This is wild.
Wild, right?
Damn.
Now we have to talk about the big college football game on Saturday.
Or lack thereof.
What that? No, come on. It was competitive.
Right, fine. It was a good game.
It was a good game. It went back and forth. Should Miami have won that game? No question. Miami really, come on. Statistically speaking, if you go to all the analytics, if you have 4 turnovers in a game, you win the turnover battle, statistically speaking, you're supposed to win that game.
Oh my God.
Adam Weiner joining us.
Hey, Adam. My head.
Yes.
10 sacks.
Brutal.
True freshman quarterback.
Brutal.
Somebody's got to tell that kid to throw the ball away.
Throw it away. Get rid of it. Something.
Right. I tell you that's Pee-wee. I tell you that's Lily.
Just get it out of your hands. But look, when they opened the game, they were throwing the ball in the short little dumpy routes and letting the receivers get in space.
And again,
and then they went away from
it. Do not get excited. You're 7-5 in the SEC.
Yes.
If that's what you're putting out, number 8 team in America, 7-5 at best.
But look, here's the point that was. Here's the greatest point that was made. This game, and they called it Week 0. You know, celebrating the 150 years of college football.
Yes,
it's the big season. They're wearing the patches. Everybody's excited about this college football season. Although it looks like Alabama and Clemson are going to be the runaway favorites again.
Georgia will be there too, man.
Georgia should be there, but for somehow some stupid play will happen and they'll lose to Alabama, or some ridiculous will happen in Georgia. And then the Donna LaPointe joining us. Hey, Donna. But, you know, the crazy thing is, you know, you got the Pac-12 that already has a bad loss with Arizona losing to Hawaii in that game on Saturday night. If you didn't stay up for that one, that was an exciting ending to the game where the guy gets tackled. Khalil Tate, the exciting quarterback.
One of my ex-kids plays for Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went to Gibbons. But they redshirted him this year, so I'm not staying up to watch their ass.
So Khalil Tate gets down to the 1-yard line at the end of the game over. But getting back to the Florida-Miami game, and the thing that really bothers me more than anything, there was one look, and you can say that there were bad calls on both sides. There's no question about it. But I think that there was a couple of questionable holding calls on Miami. The pass interference calls at the end of the game were clear.
Yeah.
And that was just plain stupidity on the Gators' part.
Oh my God!
I mean, you got 3rd or 4th and 22, and you get a pass interference call. I mean,
they win. Damn it!
But the missed field goal after the fake field goal, the guy had no legs left. He had no legs, but the kicker had no legs.
And the thing I'm sitting there saying, all my guys that watch those games, and we're going to put this out to you guys in America, University of Miami, University of Florida, they have rabid fans, and half of their fans have never even stepped foot on the campus. And me and Matt were asking, college experience, is it more fun if you're in a college town, a la Gainesville, as opposed to going to college in a city? I don't think them kids in Miami get the college experience.
Well, look, Miami, it's a nice campus. It's a small campus, but here's the thing. Gainesville only exists because of the University of Florida. Tallahassee is a little questionable because it's the capital there, okay? But Penn State, Happy Valley only exists because of Penn State.
Tennessee, Knoxville, College Station,
Alabama. I mean, come on, would anybody going? I mean, Tuscaloosa. Is anybody?
They don't even have a freaking pro team in Alabama.
Auburn. Yeah. That place only exists. I've driven through there. Yeah. It only exists because of the college. Athens would only be a city because of Georgia.
There you go.
Granted.
So is there a correlation between I'm in a college town versus I'm in a city that has a college?
And again, but it depends on the experience that the kid wants. Like for most, when you go to a Penn State, you go to Penn State, the closest big city. Harrisburg is not a big city, it's the capital, but it's not any stretch of the imagination a big city really. But you're 2 hours and 45 minutes from Pittsburgh and almost 3 hours from Philadelphia.
Oh wow. So my thing is, if I was at the University of Miami,
yes,
would I be at a frat house party or would I be at the strip club at G5?
You'd probably be at both. You would go to the frat party to begin with, and then you'd up at the strip club. Okay. See, but that's the beauty about Miami, because at Penn State or one of these other places, you're at the frat house all night long.
Yeah.
And once the girls dry up at the frat house, then it's no good.
2 in the morning,
everything's over with college town. Now, at some of these colleges, part of the problem, like at Penn State, Florida State, these frat houses are becoming, they're so scrutinized now because of the recent deaths. The one a couple of years ago at Florida State, and then the other one a couple of years ago at Penn State. Both having to do with frats and fraternities. And for those of you that have been in fraternities, look, if to each his own. I was not in a fraternity. And the one college that I went to, Glassboro State, the Teak House, they burned it down, I think, midway through the year.
I was non-Grecian myself.
Yeah, I went to the parties because we were athletes and they wanted the athletes at the parties.
I didn't need the T-shirt.
No, I didn't need that. That was not my thing.
A lot of those dudes got the T-shirt just so they could get chicks. It was not about helping the community.
But then my conspiracy theory comes into play with this University of Miami and this Florida thing. And it really goes back to the call in the 2002 national championship game when Miami was playing Ohio State.
Yeah.
And Miami, the year before, had just beaten Nebraska in Pasadena, and I was at that game. I had the privilege of going to the Pasadena game. Fred Dumbrow is joining us. Hey, Fred. So I was at that game in Pasadena, had a great time, and Miami crushing Nebraska. And again, Nebraska, big school in the middle of nowhere.
I remember that.
Okay, in the middle of nowhere. And the following year was Miami again, back in the big game, and this was in Scottsdale at Arizona State, and it was Ohio State, and it was a huge game.
I remember.
And Miami was heavily favored in this game, and nobody thought that Ohio State had a chance. Went back and forth. I forget what's the running back that got hurt during that game, but Maurice Claret for Ohio State. And at the end of the game, Miami stops Ohio State, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I'm sitting in the corner of the end zone, exactly where this happened, and a flag comes out. Okay, and it should have been game over. Miami should have been back-to-back, But Ohio State got the opportunity. They got another shot. They punched it in. They stopped Miami. Ohio State national champions. Here's my thought on this whole thing. Now, the NCAA makes a lot of money on licensing merchandise. Huge money. Now, when you have a university in Miami, and I'm not sure, this is recent statistics, and I'm sure the percentages are probably still the same.
Probably.
But you have an undergraduate enrollment at the University of Miami of 11,000 students. And I'm going to take the undergraduate numbers because postgraduate normally are not that as passionate about where they go postgraduate as they are for their undergraduate school. That their postgrad, they're getting their graduate degree. They're probably only there for 2 years, but their undergraduate, they were there for 4 years. And they probably have a greater tie to their undergraduate school than their graduate school. Would you agree with that? Okay. So it's better to say that we'll look at the undergraduate numbers than the overall numbers, but we'll give those anyway. So at Miami, undergraduate numbers 11,111. At Ohio State, you've got 45,000 undergraduates. Okay, so it's a huge disparity as far as numbers. Now, if you're Ohio State and Miami wins for the second year in a row, you're only going to sell so much merchandise. Okay, now if you take Ohio State over the last 40, 50 years since, I'm a kid, you're a kid, since you have people that have graduated over the years, have been Ohio State fans. You have a much bigger fan base, huge fan base. Okay, my lovely girlfriend, Michelle Kaplan. By the way, everybody, check Michelle out. She does this great 1-minute mindset in the mornings.
Yes.
This morning was on abs, and I know both of us could use our ab work, but check her ab 1-minute mindset today. It was really great. And look, she's great to look at, great abs. So check out the lovely Michelle Kaplan. There you go, honey. Just gave you a little plug there. So getting back to the Ohio State thing. So, and again, Saturday night, the NCAA could not afford to have a Florida school at number 8 getting upset by Miami, an unranked Miami.
No.
So they had to make it look as good as possible. Now, a couple of plays that really raise my conspiracy theory things that go on. And again, how do you script these things, or how do these things happen? But you have a 4th and 5 at the end of the game.
I remember.
Okay? You have a 4th and 5. The right tackle from Florida clearly comes off the line way too soon. No flag, because that would have been 4th and 10, and it would have been a much more difficult play. And who knows if they would have even gone for it on 4th and 10 versus pinning Miami back deep and trying to get the ball back. Now, the punt muff by Jeff Thomas raises a little bit of a question mark. Come on, dude. What is he kneeling down for to catch that punt? I don't understand. That's how I catch showing abs. Fred. Oh, we love it, Fred. Now, but what I don't understand even more, which gets even more fishy, let's talk about the fishiness of it, is why Florida is throwing the ball late in the game like that, and he throws the interception.
Yeah, I thought it was bad.
Just to make it interesting, just to make it look good. It's like, I feel like, okay, Florida, here's your script. Miami, here's your script. Learn your roles and make it look good for the millions of people that are tuned in, because every bar in Florida Saturday night was packed with either Florida, Miami fans, Florida State fans, or Central Florida. Every kind of sports fan in the state of Florida was at a sports bar watching this game.
Yeah. Now, fortunately, I know kids on both teams, so I know we don't have a conspiracy. Maybe they got nervous. Maybe because this guy in the moment and got nervous or something. But that God damn, why did we bring that game back up? Fuck, Miami, we had this game, man.
But they had the game.
I had to listen all weekend to my Gator friends about that freaking game, and we had those clowns beat. But back to what you said about revenue. Think about all the national champs lately. It's got to be a big market college.
Yeah.
So they can make their money. The NCAA is about money. No. You can't make money off the University of
Miami. No, you're not going to make money off the Vanderbilts of the world, the small schools, that have 11,000. No, they need the big schools because the big schools have more eyeballs and they're going to
more money,
and they're going to generate the revenue. It's all about the dollars for the NCAA. I mean, if you just look at some of these schools. You look at Alabama with an enrollment of 33,000 undergraduates. Penn State with 40,000. Now, here's what was shocking. USC, University of Southern California, has 19,000 undergraduates, but they have 26,000 graduate students in their programs. So I thought that was interesting. But let's go back to the three Florida schools. UF, the three big ones, because actually Central Florida and South Florida are bigger. South Florida is bigger than both of them too. But just the three main schools. Ken Leonard is joining us. Hey, Ken. So UF has 35,000 undergraduates, 17,000 graduates for a total of 52,000 and change. Miami has 11,117 undergraduates, 6,000 graduates for 17,000. And then FSU has 32,000 undergraduates and 9,000 graduates for 41,900 students. You got to just follow the dollars. I mean, look, that referee should have pulled his flag on that play. And look, I still think that you have to have reviews on some of these penalties. You got to have 2 reviews on the penalties. If they can review, they picked up the flag on the interference in the end zone, and the guy clearly bumped him off his route. Yeah, he went up and hand checked, put the hands up in his face, but come on. But shame on Miami for running the tight end into the end zone. They should have run one of the speedsters into the end zone. How long is it going to take a tight end to run in the end? I know Brevin Jordan's a good tight end, and he's going to be a great one if he stays healthy because this kid gets banged up when a pin drops.
Damn it. Damn, we lost that game. All right.
Should have won that game.
Andrew Luck, he quit.
No, he didn't quit. I know Steve Berline is very upset, and I think there's a couple other people that are upset about it. And people are saying, "Oh, how do you quit 2 weeks before the season?" And that's not fair to your teammates, and you owe it to them, and you owe it to the millions of fans. And wait, hold on, and you owe it to the fantasy players. It's all about the fantasy football. Alonzo Bone. The 10 sacks were ridiculous. We talked. You can't win a game giving up 10 sacks. Well, you got a freshman, a redshirt freshman right tackle, a freshman. Well, no, but look. Forget about Clemson for a second. But you got a true freshman, Then you got a center starting for the first time. No, you got to throw them. Victoria Allegra joining us. Hey, Victoria.
But look, watch this. Here we go back to theories again.
Yes.
Where did Andrew Luck go to school?
Stanford.
He's a nerd. So if he went to Alabama, if he came from Georgia, one of them football pedigree places, you think he would have retired?
Probably not.
No. But he's got brains, so he can do something else.
And he's got money, and he's got the pedigree. Look, he's going to probably be coaching. I guarantee he's going to take a couple of years off, and then he'll be coaching. He'll show up on some sideline at some high school for a year or two. Then he'll either move his way to Stanford and take over at Stanford, or he'll find a job in the NFL.
Yeah, he's loaded.
He's loaded. Yeah, his dad, Oliver Luck, played professional football, is involved in the XFL. Who knows? He probably might be a coach in the XFL.
And he gets to keep his money this year. What white privilege is that?
Well, that's bogus. He's 29 years old.
Quit your job and you keep your money in America.
He just couldn't handle it. Listen, Steve Berline brags about having 17 surgeries and 8 broken bones and all that stuff. But maybe this guy was done with banging up his body. He will just take a year off. No, I don't think he's
a nerd.
I think he's done. I don't think he's going to take a year off. He lost his passion for the game. The injuries, look, because Steve Berline and some of these guys are proud of their scars and proud of their playing as long as they did. Not everybody has the mindset, or not everybody has the gumption.
Not a Stanford guy.
No,
not a Stanford guy. So I don't think so. I think a nerd like that. If I was a general manager, I need to know. I want a guy from a college from the South, and I want to know that you played Little League in Liberty City or something.
Right.
I know how I would draft if I was a general manager. I want somebody that football's life or death.
Right. I agree.
I mean, I was down in Miami the other day for a show on a Wednesday night. They had Little League football practice, Alonzo. It's 8:30 at night. It must have been 1,500 people on that field on a Wednesday night for practice. They're passionate about their football. In certain places, passion is a little more than others. California, Stanford, surfing on the beach. He ain't passionate. As soon as he get hurt, I'm done. I'm good enough.
Well, look, he played through the labrum tear.
Yes.
Okay. And then and then because of that, he had to take the year off. Came back last year and had
4,000 some yards.
39 touchdowns, was the comeback player of the year. And then he strains his calf and his ankle, and he just doesn't want to deal with it anymore. But listen, playing football is not an obligation. He's not obligated to play football.
No, he's not.
My cousin Christy joining us. Yeah, Andrew Luck doesn't owe the fans of Indianapolis anything.
You know what's going to end up happening?
He gave them 6 good years.
You know what's going to end up happening?
Yes.
Andrew Luck.
He's done. I think he's done.
These basketball players, these NFL players, all of them retiring. You know what's about to happen, Alonzo? We're going to be watching all our games on video games. It's going to be esports.
Oh, esports is coming.
We're going to be esports.
Listen. Okay. I'm okay with him retiring, and I don't have a problem with it. Okay. Injuries definitely cost him his career.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to segue into esports and what injuries could possibly happen to a guy that plays esports. Your eyes go bad.
I go to Twitch because I stand too much.
Right. You can have the eye twitch. So now let's talk some esports here, because it's all in the news right now. Yeah. They sold out the US Open Stadium for this huge tournament. This guy walked away with a couple of $1 million. They now have teams where guys are getting paid base salaries, like minimum $50,000. They have pensions for these guys. They have 401ks. They have the jerseys are really cool that they wear, and they have these huge competitions. Then there's a couple of big leagues,
right? And that's owed to the millennial,
right?
To the parents who said, "What are you doing in that damn room? What are you doing playing on that freaking game for 12, 13 hours? Your kid might have a future.
Might have a future where he didn't have a future as an athlete.
Yeah,
if he's got good thumbs and he's got good hand-eye coordination with the thumbs and the controls, this kid could be a millionaire just as easy as trying to go. And all he's got to do is work his thumbs and keep his mind clear.
I saw some Chinese kid at that US Open thing.
Yes.
He comes in, they introduce him, he walks out back, the crowd scream, a stadium full of people
going crazy,
screaming for a guy playing video games. I was like, what did I miss? Where am I missing? I'm first generation Tecmo Bowl on PlayStation and Nintendo. Why did I retire? I missed my calling.
Gary Belgard is watching. But here's the thing. With all that's happening in esports and all of these gaming competitions, and people can watch, look, you don't get to see the violence of somebody hitting somebody, but they've made these video games so real that these new football games, you can, the crunch and the action is still there. It's unbelievable.
So we're going to go on the stadium, America in the future. Real soon, we're going to be packing stadiums to watch people play simulated video games.
But here's the thing. Some people I know went to the Queen concert last week, right? and they had a hologram of Freddie Mercury on stage. And I know they've done that with Tupac too, I think, where they had him on a hologram. So you could go to a stadium, they could be holograms of the players, and the people are playing in the booth or they're playing the game, and people are watching a hologram of a game. But that's going to be your entertainment. That's our future. That's our esports is our future.
I thought the future when I was a kid was getting 3D glasses from 7-Eleven to go see some fake movie with the 3D. You remember the little fake 3D glasses?
Yes.
To see the movie. That was as much technology as I thought we were going to get to. And now we're talking about playing video games.
Video
instead
games.
Of playing the sport.
Yes.
Some little sloppy 300-pound kid is sitting in their room right now, ready to make.
No, but if you look at these guys, they're not fat. Yeah. They're not these guys. You don't see fat guys playing these.
You know what? I guess not.
These guys, you don't have time not paying for that. Millennials, maybe. No, but listen, we're not going to be here forever. Yeah. I mean, I'm 40, I'm 55, you're 47. Yeah. We're getting up there in age. You know? And look, how much do you enjoy going to a live sporting event? I don't enjoy going to a live sporting event. No. Like, I was contemplating going up to the game on Saturday, and I was going to go with Jeremy, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to watch it at home. Yeah. I'm not going to, and I was going to go to a sports bar, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to battle the crowds. Okay, I can watch in my home. I can rewind when I want to rewind. I can look at a play over again if I want to look at a play over again. And I even went out to dinner. We went to a little place. I sat at the bar, watched the game, but I recorded the game. And then I deleted it as soon as I got home, and I knew they lost.
Yeah, Sherry, this is our new world. We wouldn't even think about this. I'm over 45. We had no business talking about esports, but it's so prevalent.
No, we have to say it.
We have to say it, Sherry. This shit is crazy. People are packing stadiums to watch people play video games.
Video games, and these guys are making big money.
Bucks.
They're like multi-million-dollar tournaments now.
Crazy.
You know, here, Rory McIlroy playing golf. You got to play 3 days of golf. He won 4 days of golf to win a couple of $1 million. These kids are doing that same thing.
T-shirts.
Nice shirts. No, not even T-shirts. These guys are wearing nice shirts.
Awesome.
Esports, it's going to take over.
I miss my call.
Look, they show it on ESPN.
Yes.
They show the competitions on ESPN now. Maybe you could be, but see, here's the greatest thing about the esports. There's no referees. There's no judges. No. There's no linesmen. There's no officials. You're playing the game. Everything happens in the game. You can't cheat, and you can't really cheat.
I'm trying to think. When do your reflexes start slowing down? Well, you're not competitive.
Well, look, what's going to put a guy on IR? A couple of things that are okay. Thumb ligament, finger ligament, twitch in the eye. Yes. What else? There's only two things. Now, an athlete, you can get a concussion, shoulder, hands, elbows, knees, legs, thighs, hamstrings, ankles, calves. There's every part of the body that can go wrong. But for we're going to call them e-athletes, esports athletes. There's really only two things that can cause an e-athlete to go on the injured reserve. Twitching in the eye or eye problems, and something in the thumbs. There's nothing else. You don't need to speak. You don't need to communicate unless you're on a team and you're playing in one of those arena leagues.
I can't wait till the first press conference. I'm out for the season, man.
Hurt my thumb.
I tore my thumb ligament.
I got to retire because I hurt my thumb.
I slammed my thumb, and I tore my ligaments in my thumb, and I can't hit the X. It's fast. I can't get over to the X button as quick as I used to, and I'm done. I mean, that's gonna
really. It's weird, but
I can't do it.
It's like a DJ filling a stadium. I would never have believed it, but it happened.
It happened. That's right, Sherry. A DJ. Sherry, it's fun. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're there.
Sherry, I did a wedding Saturday. The DJ had 2 screens. Every song he played, a damn video popped up on the screen of the song. The music was there, the video went with it, and I was like, what happened to the DJ just digging through the crates, pull out the record? We're in a new world.
But that's not a DJ anymore. Those are not DJs.
I don't think so.
A DJ is a disc jockey.
But they still call themselves a DJ.
I know, but the disc jockey played discs.
Yes.
You played vinyl. You put the records on the thing and you put the needle down. Then you had the other turntable and you right.
Can't do that anymore.
Eddie Varela joining us. Hey, Eddie. No, you can't.
You're still a DJ.
You're still a DJ. But I think we got to come up with another name for them. Techno jocks. Yeah. Call them techno jocks.
Playlist. I got a playlist.
TJs. We'll call them TJs now.
I got a playlist for everything.
But that's what a lot of these guys do. They show up and they hit one button and then they're
done.
Talk to people, right? Oh, man. Now, this was unfortunate. I hate to bring it down, but this was a very sad story. Young couple in Texas. I don't know if you saw this. Got married. The justice of the peace married them. They had their family there at the wedding. A 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. And pulling out of the parking lot, a tractor trailer sideswiped them, turned them over. Both died within 5 minutes of them getting married. Jeez. Sad story. See, that's the thing. I heard that story and I'm questioning myself. How could that be? How could that be? So, that's something that you hear and it just breaks your heart. I hate to bring that up, but it was just a sad story. Yep. But anyway, just recapping, our lovely president at the G7 summit with all the world leaders, and supposedly he didn't show up for the climate part of it, said that he had meetings with 2 other leaders, but those 2 leaders showed up at the meeting. And then he supposedly got 2 phone calls from China completely denying the phone calls. So who knows who's telling the truth here? We're all getting screwed at the end. And it doesn't matter. And the Amazon is burning down, so we're all going to be done anyway because the Amazon produces 20% of the Earth's oxygen. So we're all going to be like in total recall pretty soon when they're on Mars and they have no oxygen. The Amazon is burning down. Come on. Oh, my God. He wants Putin back in G8.
If I got any friends in Kissimmee.
Oh, yeah. Kissimmee, that's right.
Friday and Saturday.
This Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, this Friday and Saturday.
But we got a hurricane coming, so.
I'll be in Kissimmee.
All right. I know, South Florida, get ready. All the hype is going to happen. We got a little storm brewing out. Dorian is out in the Atlantic right now. Approaching Dorian. Dorian.
Oh, that's a good black guy.
Dorian? Really?
Is that a good name?
Oh my God.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So there you have it. We talked a little bit about Trump, a little bit about luck, a little bit about esports, a little bit about the Gators and Hurricanes. 48 minutes, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, sorry, we did our best. Again, try and get us on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page, the Irregulars show. It's a better picture. It's a little bit better quality on YouTube. We're trying to get everybody over there. Hopefully, we'll make that happen.
Yes.
But if you're in South Florida, hopefully we can steer that hurricane away from us.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on Labor Day weekend. We don't want to deal with a hurricane Labor Day weekend.
No.
That would be bad.
No.
But everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Matt Posner. He's
the teacher.
And we're the Irregulars. We'll see you next Monday, 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining, everybody. Peace.
Oh, go eat my dinner. Oh, man, that was beautiful. God, man. I didn't think about that. Fuck, if that hurricane coming, ain't no fucking shark in the center.
No.
Shit. Or do I run to the center to get away from the storm? But I'm pretty sure the storm's going toward the center. If it comes here, it's going.
Well, they say it could go Central Florida.
Yeah,
There's a small chance down here and a larger chance further up north. Oh, wait, I got to end that stream.
We'll figure it out by Saturday.
All right.